Hello everyone. Today we are going to explore America's one of the most beloved poems, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Now about Robert Frost. You see, a poet or any writer always affect the text they write, so it becomes very important to know about their background and personality before starting to read their work. About Robert Frost. He lived from 1874 to 1963 and he has won 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. His literary style. Now the setting in this poem is rural and this poem is full of symbolism, imagery and metaphor, and it uses conversational tone and explores human nature. So most of the Robert Frost works are like this. Okay, now a brief introduction to the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. So this poem is a 4-stanza poem and we will uncover the hidden meanings stanza by stanza. Now let's cover first stanza. Whose words these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Now, in this first stanza, we see that the speaker is alone in the woods, but he is quite aware of the owner's presence. But the owner is absent, so the speaker can have some private moments. The beautiful scene is a very big temptation for a man who wants to go in a quest to achieve something. It is quite likely that the beauty of the forest might tempt the rider to stay on and feast his eyes over the falling snow. Now comes the second stanza. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. Now in this stanza, the speaker's own uncertainty and self-awareness are attributed to the thoughts of the horse. The horse is confused. Why? Because of the lack of farmhouse, and this confusion mirrors the speaker's internal questioning. It highlights the complexity of human emotions. The lack of farmhouse near the stopping point intensifies the sense of isolation. The darkest evening of the year serves as a metaphor for life's challenges. Alright, now let's uncover the mystery behind the third stanza. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Now, the horse questioning via harness bells. He is questioning via his harness bells, and this questioning symbolizes the speaker's subconscious thoughts. His horse shakes the bells attached to the harness in order to draw the attention of his master, so that the master may think whether it is advisable to stop there or not. The calm atmosphere of the woods is disturbed by the sound of the bells. The speaker's pause coupled with the horse's inquiry illustrates the existential dilemma. Should one continue on their path or pause to reflect? So you see, this poem is quite philosophical. A reader may interpret the poem or any literary text as art is there for your own interpretation. Now tell me in the comment section what you think the answer should be. but don't forget to supply a valid reason along with your answer. Alright? Okay, now comes our last stanza, the fourth stanza, and it has the most famous lines and miles to go before I sleep, which is the person may not read the whole poem, but these 4 lines mostly persons are well aware of. Now, in this stanza, we see the lines are, the words are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Okay, so the speaker acknowledges the allure of the words, which symbolizes freedom, uncertainty, but he soon recognizes his own commitments and responsibilities. He realizes that he is a rider who has to reach his destination before the night falls. He gives up the idea of stopping by the woods and decides to ride on. At a deeper level, the rider stands for every man. The woods are the temptations and attractions scattered along man's way in this world. But the destination, the goals can be achieved only by ignoring wayside attractions and temptations. Now the most famous lines. The lines, miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep, signify hard work that must be done before rest is taken. Before I sleep may be understood in a twofold sense. Before I go to sleep in the night or before I die. Alright, so let's study the literary devices which this poem has used. Symbolism. Now, let's explore a little further and see what literary devices have been used. Now, first comes the symbolism. So, there are these words which you can note down and they signify something or the other, like the woods. They signify isolation, wilderness, solitude, freedom. Snow, passing of time, peace, tranquility, purity. Frozen lake, stillness, reflection. My little horse, loyalty, companionship, intuition. The darkest evening, unknown challenges, transition. Harness bells, warning, caution, questioning. Farmhouse, it signifies warmth, comfort, security. Promises, it signifies responsibility, obligation, and commitment. Sleep, like rest, death, or unconsciousness. Miles to go signify unfinished tasks and promises. Okay. So, next comes the personification. My little horse much things. So, human attributes have been given to the little horse. The woods fill up with snow. It's like words are themselves consciously filling themselves with snow. Alliteration, repetition of a sound like S sound in snow, sweep and shake, and W sound in words wind and winter. Repetition. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Okay, so it is a 4-stanza poem and it follows iambic tetrameter. Now conclusion. So this poem stands for every man. This much is very much clear that it signifies the dilemma of every man. What is the dilemma? That should one proceed on one's journey or take a pause and reflect the beauty surrounding him. So what do you think about this poem? And I hope you enjoyed it. But remember that this poem is a deceptively simple poem. It appears very simple superficially, but it contains profound meanings. Okay, see you next time with a more fascinating topic. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.